Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of biology. And of course today we are continuing with our study of supporting tissues. Basically today we are looking at the internal structure of dicot and monocot stem. Okay, in the last episode we did a great deal on internal structure of dicot and monocot roots. Okay, but today we are looking at the internal structure of dicot and monocot stem. All right, and of course they draw some similarities also, like in the naming of their parts. All right, but of course a dicot stem and a monocot stem, they vary. All right, they vary, and we're going to see some of those key differences. Okay, do not forget that this tutorial is brought to you by the O3 Schools app. All right, if you're preparing for your JAMB exam or you're preparing for WAEC exam, this is the right place to be. All right, see, come to our lectures, enjoy yourself, be confident enough to answer any question. That's what we build you for. Okay, so please ensure you get the O3 Schools app, okay, from Play Store or from your App Store. All right, but before we talk about the app, let us see a question that is related to this from the O3 Schools JAMB app. This is a 2012 question. It's a 2012 question, number 13. 2012, number 13. It says that which of the following plant structures lacks a waterproof cuticle? Okay, which of the following plant structures lack a waterproof cuticle? A says leaf, B says stem, C says root, D says shoot. Okay, so we'll take a look at this question, okay, at the end of the class and not before, because at O3 Schools we pride ourselves in giving you value first. Let us teach you, and after I taught you, answering questions will be the least of a problem. All right, so please ensure you download the app. It has all the past questions that you need, all right, for all your exams, okay? All the past questions for all the subjects that are in one application for both the JAMB and the WAEC. There are other couple of amazing features like question search feature. You can search for question according to topic, all right? You can just go to the app, click on question search, click on the subject like biology, for example, just type dicot. Anywhere that JAMB has set anything that related to dicot before will come out for you to answer. You can put monocot. You can put internal structure of what? Of stem. Okay? Anything used, any keyword. Let's say you want to answer a question on the topic you just read, all right? You can use the question search feature to bring a question that JAMB has set from there. Okay, and when you're able to answer all of the questions that relates to it, there's no way JAMB can confuse you when it comes to what answering questions. Okay, what's more also, there's a wonderful feature called the classroom feature. This classroom feature has a study plan, it has a study schedule. That means it will create a timetable for you. Okay, the classroom has lecture notes structured according to the JAMB syllabus, and then it will create a timetable for you that will make you to finish that syllabus in time. All right, so please ensure that what you get the application and you finish your syllabus before your exam. That is the only way you can be guaranteed success. All right, what's more also, there's a mock challenge, okay, on the app every Saturday for both the JAMB app and the WAEC app. Okay, so there's a challenge for the JAMB challenge. It starts every 10 a.m. Okay, while the WAEC challenge starts 1 p.m. Okay, so every Saturday there's a challenge. Every student come to the app to compete, to win prizes, but winning prizes is not the major point. It's to what? Get used to what? JAMB past questions or WAEC past questions, to familiarize yourself with how these examiners reason and set questions, okay, and build your confidence. You'll be seeing your result released. So it's something that you know that today not JAMB. If today not JAMB, now I forget this. Okay, so you must prepare, okay, and you must be ready to what? To mount any question and smash it and chew it. All right, so please get the app and activate it. Activation is just for a little fee. All right, get the application, activate it. The activation fee is less than the price of rice and chicken in a good restaurant. Do not waste your time. All right, pass your exam at once. So now let us look at the internal structure of a dicot and monocot stem. We're not going to dwell too much on it because we did a lot in the last class when it comes to what dicot and monocot, introducing what they are and their characteristics and so on and so forth. Okay, so now let us really look at the parts of a dicot stem. Let's begin with the dicot stem. Okay, so the dicot stem, okay, has what? The following parts. Number one is the epidermis. The epidermis is the outer layer, okay? The outer layer of the cell, all right? So we have what? Epidermis, okay? We have what? The epidermis, number one. Let's begin with the epidermis. so as not to waste time, let us begin with the epidermis, okay? And we know that the epidermis, it is the outermost layer, right? So the epidermis is what is the outermost layer, okay? Then also it has this epidermis here for the dicot stem has a cuticle, okay? It has what? A cuticle, all right? Remember what I told you about cuticle in the last video, okay? This waxy what appearance, all right? So it has what? A cuticle. Dicot roots and monocot roots do not have what? They do not have what? Cuticle, okay? They have what? An epidermis without what? Cuticle, all right? But dicot stem has what? A cuticle. It has a cuticle. So it is the outermost layer, all right? You can say with cuticle, okay? Because it has what? Cuticle. You say what? With cuticle. So this is a difference between what? Dicot stem and dicot root, okay? Dicot root do not have cuticle, but of course, the dicot stem does have what? Cuticle. So number 2, the dicot stem may have what we call trichomes, okay? May have trichomes. These trichomes, they are hair-like structures. These trichomes, they are hair-like structures. Hair-like structures. Okay? All right? So the epidermis of what? Of a dicot stem, okay, may have what? Trichomes, okay? They are the hair-like what structure. We saw what for the dicot root, all right? We saw the hair, all right? The hair structures on it. All right. Then also they may also have what? Stomata. Okay, so they may have trichomes and what? And stomata. All right, so it's not only trichomes they have, these hair-like structures. Okay, they also have what? Stomata. All right, so the epidermis of a dicot stem is the outermost layer with cuticle. It has cuticle. Okay, it may have what? Trichomes, that is the hair-like structures, and what? And stomata. Okay, may be present also. All right, so that is that for epidermis. So the next part added epidermis, okay, we go usually into the word cortex, okay? But of course, there's another part called the hypodermis. Hypodermis. So let us quickly see the hypodermis, okay? But before we see the hypodermis, I want to quickly oblige you to like this video. Liking this video will make other students easily find this video. Please do not be stingy, all right? Like the video. Even as I'm watching now, just click on that like button, that like this. Finish. It does not remove anything from you. Okay, and if you have not subscribed to this channel, click on that red subscribe button, all right, so that you get notified whenever we release a new video. Okay, and of course, do not forget to copy the link of this video and share to your friends. Click on the share button, share, all right? Share the link to your friends, your loved ones, your class group. Let them learn and also what? Succeed. Okay, so the next part we have what is the hypodermis, number 2. Hypodermis, okay? This hypodermis is made up of collenchyma, okay? It is made up of collenchyma, okay? And what does it do? Okay, it provides what? Mechanical support. It provides mechanical support. It provides what? Mechanical what? Support, all right? So that is the hypodermis, okay? So we have the hypodermis. Then we now have what? The cortex, all right? So take note. So we have what? The epidermis, we have the hypodermis, then we now have cortex. So now let's look at the cortex, all right? You know that the cortex is made up of parenchymatous cells, all right? So the cortex, now let's look at the cortex, all right? Number 1, you know that it is made up of parenchymatous cells. It is made up of parenchymatous cells. Okay, and because it's made up of parenchymatous cells, that means to have what? Large intercellular spaces. Okay, so you can say with large intercellular spaces. All right, and of course the cortex also of a dicot stem, it may store food. Okay, it may store food. Okay, so it also has what? Another function of what? Of food storage. Okay, so the cortex can store what? Food. All right, so it is made up of parenchymatous cells with large intercellular spaces, and of course it may also what? Store food. Okay, and definitely after the cortex we now have what? The endodermis. the endodermis. Know that the endodermis is the innermost layer of what? Of the cortex, okay? So we now have what? The endodermis, okay? This is how what the dicot stem looks like. Something like this, something like this, something like this. Okay, this is how the dicot stem what looks like. Then you now have some of this oval shape. Okay, this is how the dicot stem look like. Okay, all right. So this one here is our epidermis, your epidermis. All right, and then we now have what? Our hypodermis, hypodermis. Okay, we have our cortex. All right, then here we have what? Our xylem. Here we have what? Our phloem. All right, that means that these ones here, okay, they are our vascular bundles. Okay, that is these ones, they are our vascular bundles. Vascular bundles. Okay, so the pericle, this is the pericle. All right, the pericle is inside the endodermis. All right, so that means that the endodermis will still be somewhere what here. All right, so this is endodermis. Okay, so this is just like this is a simple example. Okay, they also have one part called the medullary. Okay, the medullary. All right, medullary what ray. Okay, medullary ray. Okay, it's another what part of what? Of the internal structure of a dicot stem. And then we also have what? The pith. Okay, P-I-T-H. Okay, and this is what? The pith. Okay, so this is how what the internal structure of a dicot stem looks like. Okay, so we have what? Different part, the pericle, the epidermis, okay, to the what? To the hypodermis, to the cortex, right, to the pericle, to the endodermis, to the endodermis, to the pericle, because the pericle is inside the endodermis. All right, then we have what? Our vascular bundles, we have what? Our xylem, we have our phloem, right, and so many other parts. Okay, so we're going to what? Look at, but this is the part we're looking at. I just wanted to give you an idea of how a dicot stem looks like. Okay, so you can see the parts of a dicot stem, they are differentiated. You can know which one is which one. Okay, so now let us go to the endodermis now, right? We just talk about what the cortex, we say, is made up of what? Of parenchymatous cell, and that it may store what? Food. It also have what? Function of what? Of food storage. Right? That will now take us to endodermis. Endodermis. Okay, so the endodermis, like we said, is the innermost layer of the cortex. Okay, the innermost layer of the cortex. All right, okay, there's no need to draw this again. Just use your imagining from the last class. Okay, so number one, it is the innermost layer of the cortex. Okay, and of course, this endodermis sometimes contains what? Starch. Contains starch. Okay, number two, all right, it contains what? Starch. S-T-A-R-C-H. Okay, and this starch that it contains is called starch sheet. Starch sheet. Take note. Starch. S-T-A-R-C-A. Then S-C-S-H-E-A-T-H. Okay, it contains starch that is called what? Starch sheet. You must take note of what? Of that. All right. So this is the endodermis. It is the innermost layer of the cortex and contains starch called what? Starch sheet. Starch sheet. You must take note of that. Then now that will now take us to the pericle. And the pericle of the dicot stem is just inside the word, the endodermis. Okay, so the pericle now, okay, it is number one, it is just inside the what? The endodermis. Okay, and this pericle contains what we call fibers. Okay, it contains what? Fibers. Okay, and of course, number two, it contains fibers. Okay, or parenchyma. All right, so the pericle contains fibers or parenchyma. Take note of what? Of these. All right, so that is the pericle. Now that will not take us to vascular bundles. How are the vascular bundles in the dicot stem arranged? Okay, we'll look at the arrangement, okay, and their positioning. All right, where does the xylem lie? Where does the phloem lie? Okay, so now let us look at the vascular bundles. Okay, vascular bundles. Vascular bundles. So number one, okay, let's talk about the arrangement of their vascular bundles, okay? Their vascular bundles, they are arranged in a ring, okay? The vascular bundles are arranged, okay, in a ring. So talking about the Dicot stem now, the vascular bundles of the Dicot stem, they are arranged in a ring, okay, and they are collateral, okay, collateral. Number two, let me say I'll explain what collateral means right now. They are collateral. By collateral means they are placed side by side, or collateral vascular bundles is a type of arrangement, okay, whereby the vascular bundles are placed side by side, okay, they are placed on the same radii, not on alternate radii like we saw for the Dicot route, okay, so they are placed on the same radii, they are placed side by side, so they are collateral, okay, they are what, open with the xylem inside, okay, and the phloem outside. Okay, please take note of what of this. Okay, so they are collateral, that open with the xylem inside and phloem outside, and in between the xylem and the phloem, we now have the cambium. Okay, and in between them is the cambium. Okay, the cambium. Okay, the cambium, no, you remember that I will say the cambium is responsible for what? For secondary growth. Okay, so the cambium is what? Is in between what the xylem and the phloem, and it is responsible for secondary growth. You will see this question in your exam. Okay, you see it in your exam, you see it in your past question, you see it in your exam. All right, these are questions that what they want to what ask you. Okay, the cambium is in between, lies between the xylem and what and the phloem, and it is responsible for what? For secondary growth. It is responsible for secondary growth. Please take note of what of that. All right, so that is that for the vascular bundle. Okay, and of course I'll say secondary growth is possible because of what? Of the presence of the cambium. Now that will not take us to the medullary rays. Okay, medullary rays. If you have not liked the video, please like it now. Okay, subscribe to the channel. Okay, and share our videos, please. So now let us talk about the medullary rays. Medullary rays. Okay, and this one is made up of radial parenchymatous was cells. Okay, this medullary ray is made up of what? Radial parenchymatous was cell between the vascular bundles. Okay, all right, I showed you where the medullary ray is, isn't it? Okay, so medullary ray is somewhere here. On the diagram I'll show you before. Okay, medullary ray is somewhere here. Okay, in between what the xylem and the phloem, where we have what this what xylem and phloem. Okay, so somewhere here is the medullary rays. All right, and I said that what it is what made up of what radial parenchymatous was cells. Okay, between what it is between the xylem, present between the xylem and what and the phloem. Okay, so that is that for that. So let us see one, which is the only one, radial parenchyma between the xylem and the phloem. Okay, and then now take us to the last part, okay, which we are going to look at, which is what the pith, P-I-T-H. Okay, and it's a central large parenchymatous region. This pith here is central. Is placed what at the center. Okay, it's a central large parenchymatous region. Okay, a central large parenchymatous region for what? For storage. It helps in what? In storage. Okay, for storage of food. Okay, so this one is for what? For storage. Okay, so we say the pith is a central large parenchymatous region. Parenchymatous region. Okay, that helps in what? In storage. Okay, it helps in what? In storage. Please take note of that. You can see the location of the pith. Okay, can we name some of the parts? Okay, for the Dicot stem, before we round up, we say this one is what? Epidermis. All right. Then we now have what? Hypodermis. Okay, we have cortex. Okay, we have endodermis. Okay, and because the pericle is located inside the endodermis, so somewhere here will still be the pericle. Okay, we already know the pit. All right, and then here is what? Xylem. Okay, this out one is what? Is the phloem. Okay, that's why the xylem is what? Lying inside, while the phloem is what? Is outside. Okay, so and so on and so forth. Talk about the medullary rays and so many other parts. Okay, so this is what? A dicot stem. So now, without wasting much time, let's go to a monocot stem. All right, and do justice to it. Monocot stem. Please, I implore you, like this video. Okay, support us. Let us grow. All right. Support us, let us go. Let us get this channel to 100,000 subscribers. Okay, support us, let us grow. So now let us look at the monocot stem. Monocot stem. Okay, so for the monocot stem, all right, they do not have distinct pericle, no distinct pit. In fact, let me just show you how a monocot stem looks like. Okay, something like this. All right, then you now have what your vascular bundles. Okay, all right, your vascular bundles. Okay, like this. All right, so they do not have what? A distinct what? Pit or pericle. Okay, yeah, it also have the epidermis. Of course, it has the epidermis. All right, then here is the phloem. All right, so you can see the phloem. Okay, you can see their collateral. All right, they're placed side by side. Okay, you have the xylem. Okay, then the rest is it's called ground tissue. Okay, it's called what? Ground tissue. All right, and it is surrounded with a lot of what? Parenchymatous cells. Okay, parenchymatous cells surrounding what? Or parenchymatous sheets, call it parenchymatous sheets, surrounding what? The monocot stem, rather. Okay, so this is just the simple representation of what? Of the monocot stem. All right, so let's quickly see the parts. We are familiar with most of them. All right, so number one is the epidermis. You know that it is what? The outer layer, single outer layer, but remember that it has cortical. The epidermis of a monocot stem has cortical, and also it may even have stomata. All right, so number one, epidermis. Epidermis, okay, is a single outer layer of what? Of cell, and it has what? Cortical. It has cortical, like we have said. All right. So apart from it having cortical, like we have said, we say it may also have what? Stomata. It may also have stomata. All right. It may also have stomata. Okay, so that is what the epidermis, single outer layer of the cell with cortical, and it may also have stomata. We know it's a single outer layer. We have seen that before. Okay, so now let us go to the next part. So it does not have the monocot stem does not have a distinct cortex. Okay, it does not have a distinct cortex. It does not have a distinct pericle. Okay, it does not have many things. All of this, they're all just called ground tissues. Okay, so now we'll now go to the next one, which is the hypodermis. It has the hypodermis, and the hypodermis is made up of what? Sclerenchyma for mechanical support. Hypodermis. Okay, this one is made up of sclerenchyma, made up of sclerenchyma. Okay, for mechanical. Okay, to give the plant mechanical strength. All right, please take note of that. The hypodermis is made up of what? Sclerenchyma for what? For mechanical strength. Mechanical strength. All right, and then that will now take us to what? To the ground tissue. All right, so the ground tissue. Now we now have ground tissue. All right, and of course, this ground tissue, I've already told you that that monocot stem does not have a distinct what? Cortex. Okay, no distinct cortex. All right, number one, see no distinct cortex, pericle, or pit. Okay, all inner tissue of the monocot stem is ground tissue. Okay, all inner tissue. Number two, all inner tissue. Okay, of monocot stem is ground tissue. Okay, and this ground tissue is made up of what? Parenchyma. Okay, parenchyma. Please take note of that. Okay, so all inner tissue of monocot stem is what? Is ground tissue. Okay, and it's made up of what? Of parenchyma. Now let us quickly see the last part, which is what? The vascular bundles. Now, Okay, how are their vascular bundles arranged? We already seen that from the diagram I drew for you. So they say that they are collateral, they are placed side by side. Okay, and of course they are scattered throughout the gland tissue. Number one. Note that for the monocot stem, vascular bundles. Okay, number one, they are scattered. They are not arranged in a ring like the dicot stem. Okay, they are scattered throughout the ground tissue. All right, and of course, note that they are collateral. They are placed side by side. Okay, number two, they are collateral. Okay, they are closed. They are not open this time. They are closed. They are closed. Okay, they are closed. Comma, they are closed. All right, and of course, they do not have cambium. There's nothing like cambium. All right, know that for the dicot or stem, we say that they are open, and then they have a cambium in between them. This one, they are closed. They are closed with no cambium. Okay, with no cambium, and because of this, also it means that secondary growth is what? Is it present or absent? Okay, it's absent in a dicot instead in a monocot stem. Secondary growth is absent, but it is present in a dicot stem. Okay, it is present in a dicot stem, but absent in a monocot stem. All right, so these are the parts of the internal structure of a monocot stem. So let us see differences. Let us draw differences, and we are done. Okay, we are done with this class. We answer questions and we are done. Okay, so let us see differences between the monocot stem and the dicot stem. So now let's say we have monocot. Okay, here we have dicot. Okay, so let us see differences that we have between the monocot stem and the dicot stem. Number one, vascular bundle. Okay, as we saw in terms of the monocot stem. In terms of the monocot stem, say that the vascular bundle is is scattered. It's not arranged in a ring as in a dicot stem. Okay, vascular bundle is is scattered. Okay, it's scattered. Okay, and then of course they will now have the dicot stem here. Vascular bundle for the dicot stem is arranged in a ring. If you do not know anything I'm talking about, this table, let it be in your head. Okay, you must know it. All right, it's inevitable. And then of course, cambium is absent, and that is why the secondary growth is also absent. So cambium is absent. Number three is secondary growth. Because of that, secondary growth is also absent. So cambium is absent. It does not have cambium. Monocot stem does not have cambium, and because of that, secondary growth is absent. Okay, because the cambium is what is responsible for secondary growth. In a dicot stem, the cambium is in between the xylem and the phloem rather, and it is responsible for secondary growth. So yeah, cambium is present. Cambium is present. Okay, while your secondary growth is of course possible. Secondary growth is possible because of the presence of the cambium. And then also the hypodermis of the monocot stem is sclerenchymatous. Okay, number four, the hypodermis, okay, is made up of sclerenchyma. Okay, it's made up of sclerenchyma. Okay, please take note of that. Yeah, the hypodermis is made up of collenchyma. Okay, yeah. Okay, hypodermis is made up of collenchyma. All right, you must take note of that. Okay, for the monocot stem, the hypodermis of a monocot stem is made up of sclerenchymatous cells. Okay, while the hypodermis of a dicot stem is made up of collenchyma cells. Take note of that. Also, yeah, ground tissue, like we said, number five, the ground tissue. All right, like we already know about the ground tissue, that is it is not distinct. Okay, the parts are not clearly differentiated. Okay, when it comes to what the monocot stem. Okay, but for the dicot stem, the ground tissue is differentiated. We have the cortex, we have the pericle. Okay, we have what the endodermis and so on and so forth. It is differentiated when it comes to what the dicot stem. But for the monocot stem, the ground tissue is not clearly differentiated. It's not clearly differentiated. Okay, all right. So for here, ground tissue, okay, is differentiated, okay, or distinct. It's differentiated. Okay, that's why we now have what the cortex. Okay, we have endodermis. Okay, we also have pericle. All right, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the ground tissue is what is differentiated when it comes to the dicot stem. Okay, but for what? For the monocot stem, all right, it is not clearly differentiated, and that's a very, very huge difference between the dicot stem and the monocot stem. Okay, also pit here, number 6 now, PITH, the pit, okay, is absent or not clearly distinct. Okay, pit is absent or not clearly, okay, distinct. Okay, as you can see, right, for here, for the here, the pit is what is present. Okay, pit is what is present. Okay, I can see it was what it was differentiated. All right, we knew from the drawing of what of the dicot stem. I don't know how to draw again. For the drawing, we saw what the pit centrally was placed. Okay, but for what, for the monocot stem, okay, it is what, it is absent or it is not what distinctly what differentiated. All right, then of course we'll talk about the vascular bundle arrangement. We'll talk about the cambium. We'll talk about secondary growth. We'll talk about the hypodermis, ground tissue, pit. Okay, and also there's another part called the bundle sheet. Okay, I mentioned what the bundle sheet. All right, the bundle sheet for the monocot stem, okay, is present, and it is made up of sclerenchymal cells. Okay, bundle sheet is present. Number 6, number 7 now. Bundle sheet is present. Okay, all right, and of course, like I said, it is made up of what? Of sclerenchymal cells, made up of sclerenchymal cells. Yeah, bundle sheet is absent. Bundle sheet. Okay, sheet, is this sheet? Okay, is what is absent. Okay, there's an H. Okay, bundle sheet here is absent. Bundle sheet here is what is present. All right, so please take note of that. This is another word different between the dicot stem and the monocot stem. An example of monocot stem is what? Maize, grass. Okay, example here is what? Maize. Okay, or grass. One example for dicot stem, we have sunflower. Okay, we have bean. Okay, all of these are examples of what? Of dicot or stem. So please take note of them. Take note of those examples also. They may be what? Important, okay, during the course of exam. So let us now go to the app. You will answer the questions that ensue and put the answers in the comment section for me. I've taught you, so you see the answering question will be easy for you. 2012-13 said, which of the following plant structures lack a waterproof cortical? A says the leaf, B says the stem, C says root, D says shoot. Okay, we'll talk about the last class. In the last class, I think this question should even come from the last class. So please ensure, if you have not watched the last class, now you can answer this one. All right, okay, but we already know, yeah, okay, that what? That the dicot stem and monocot stem, they have what? They have cortical, okay? So tell me the answer in the comment section. 2012, number 6. Pardon. Plants that show secondary growth are usually found among the plants that show secondary growth. Okay, secondary growth are usually found among the A say talophyte, B say pteridophyte, C say monocotyledons, D says dicotyledons. Okay, all right. So secondary growth it arises as a result of what? The presence of cambium. Okay, it's cambium that causes what? Okay, causes the secondary growth. So where is it present? Is it in a dicot or in the monocot? Give me the answer in the comment section. So I've talked about it. 1995, number 10. 1995, number 10 says secondary thickening in dicotyledonous stem. Secondary thickening in dicotyledonous stem is controlled by A say xylem, B say phloem, C say cambium, D say pericle. Give me the answer in the comment section. Also very easy. 2010, number 11. Which of the following is true of the transverse section of a dicot stem? Okay, listen very well. They say the epidermis is completely encircled by the cortex. The epidermis is completely encircled by the cortex. We're talking about dicot stem, which proved to be it's a very, very wrong one. A is very wrong. In fact, very, very wrong. If you listen to the class, it's very, very wrong. B said the xylem is more interiorly located than the phloem. Okay, remember I want to talk about what the dicot was stem. We say what? It is open, it is collateral. All right, the word we say that they are placed what? Side by side. The vascular bundles are placed side by side. Okay, with the xylem and the phloem. Okay, please go. If in case you miss that part, go and watch the class again. I'm not telling you the answer. She say the cambium lies between the cortex and the vascular bundles. Okay. Does the cambium lie between the cortex and the vascular bundles, or the cambium lies between the vascular bundles themselves? So this says the vascular bundles are randomly scattered with the cortex. The vascular bundles are randomly for the dicot stem. We didn't talk about that. So give me the answer in the comment section. Okay, 2007, number 23. They say monocot stems differ from dicot stems in that monocots differ from dicot stem in that monocots have A say no cambium. Do monocots have cambium? B say no pit. Okay. Now for the pit, we actually say that the pit is absent in the monocot. Okay, or it is not distinctly was stated. Okay, it's not clearly differentiated. That means it may be present. So you cannot want pick pit in that kind of condition. You see how JAMB said question. They want to confuse you. They want to confuse you. What we said there about the pit, we say pit is absent or not clearly distinct. Okay, it means that it may be present. Okay, just that it is not what clearly differentiated. If you now pick pit, you have failed the question. So this say fewer vascular bundles. This say fluence with parenchyma. Okay, the answer is looking at you, and I am looking at you too. All right, so please give me the answers in the comment section. All right, and of course, download the application, activate it, start using it, start early, start your preparation early, and you'll see success coming your way. And remember, Master T, I'll see you in the next class. Thank you for watching.